What's up guys, thanks for tuning in to my latest video, the life of a jobbing plumber. It's not quite dark enough outside to warrant a torch, but it's too dark in the van to film without a torch, so that's why I'm lit up like a Christmas tree. So this week's video, a selection of jobs that I think you'll find interesting. There's a couple of emergency call out type jobs, one to do with the cold weather. They rang me up and said it was a frozen pipe in the loft, and the other one was a call I got. It was a really strange job. A call I got at 11 o'clock at night. I just got into bed. Now, normally I wouldn't answer the phone that late, but it was my mum and dad's next door neighbour. Now, my mum and dad are like in their 70s. So obviously I thought something's happened to my mum and dad. So I answered it, but it was a plumbing job they wanted me to go around and look at. But it's so weird. So I'll show you it. I filmed it for Instagram. There was a lot of people commenting saying, what the hell is this? What's going on? And then I will show you afterwards, because while I was doing it, it was obviously 11 o'clock at night. There was water everywhere. The place was flooded. It was freezing cold, and I couldn't really work out in my head what was wrong. So I'll show you it, see what you think, and then we'll do a little drawing to explain it. Similar to the frozen pipe in the loft roof space job. Again, it was an emergency call out over Christmas. While I was there, I was trying to think what was wrong. Obviously, once I'd done the job, then yeah, I sort of knew. But when you're there at the time, sometimes it doesn't click. So I'll do a little bit of a drawing to explain that one as well, to hopefully that will help some of you out. So yeah, hope you enjoy this week's video, and yeah, I'll see you hopefully again next Sunday. Cheers guys. Right, as I said in the intro, I was called out to this over Christmas. They'd had a frost, so the guy suspected he had a frozen pipe in his loft. But it wasn't a frozen pipe, it was the PRV discharging. Now, the pipework is a right dog's dinner. There's just plastic laying everywhere over the top. Some of it's insulated, some of it's not. So I was surprised it wasn't a frozen pipe, and it was that. But basically, all I'm doing here is I'm just showing you what I'm doing, how my brain's working. I'm just looking at all the component parts and I'm checking that everything's okay, doing what it should do, hasn't been damaged by the frost. In the back of my head, I'm thinking that the 6-bar pressure relief valve is frozen and that's why it's doing it. But we've got an expansion vessel, factory set at 3.5 bar, so I'm just going to set that at 3.5 bar. After everything I did, I then put the water back on and checked it. So pumped that up to 3.5 bar, held, water back on, still did it. So the next thing I thought I'd do is take the PRV out and have a look at it, see if there's any frost damage, if it was stuck. I don't know what I was expecting to see, but it looks quite clean, looks okay. There was no debris caught in it. Didn't know whether anything had found its way in there and it wasn't re-sitting, but that looked okay. So then I thought I'll check on the van, see if I've got one that'll fit. I didn't have one specifically to fit, but I did have this one off a composite valve, 6-bar rated, you can see there. So I thought I'll just try it, while I'm here, see if it causes it, then I can order a new one. So we tried that in, obviously that just screws in there. And then again, after everything I changed, I put the water back on. So with that new PRV on, water back on, and it did hold for about a minute and I thought I'd cracked it, but with the water on, after about a minute and a half, I started to hear the water creeping through, and you can hear it's running now. So unfortunately this didn't have a ton dish on. So I went away and I came back with a new 6-bar PRV, swapped the whole thing, and I put a ton dish in so we could see what was going on, because without a ton dish you can't tell if it's running or not. So again, did that, turned the water back on, instantly started passing again, but now we've got the ton dish, you can actually see it. So common sense now kicked in. 6-bar pressure relief valve, brand new, we must have over 6 bar. So then I'm looking at the non-return valve, maybe that got frozen, maybe that's damaged, so I took that off. I was blowing through it to see if it was working okay, and that was all right. So the last component part that we can look at on here is the pressure reducing valve. And at this point, I kicked myself because I remembered I came to a job just down the road from here a couple of years ago, and I actually filmed it for YouTube. They have insanely high water pressure on the incoming side. Put my Stuart Turner test kit on it, and I can't remember what it was, but it was maybe upwards to 7 bar. So my assumption is the pressure reducing valve froze, got damaged, and now it's letting the full 6-7 bar through it, which obviously when it hits the PRV it's opening up. So I'm going to swap that. We've got reducing kits already made onto the plastic. I'm not going to bother changing all of that. The whole pipework needs upgrading and doing properly. It needs clipping and lagging with thicker lagging, not just laying over the top of the joists. But I'm going to refit this now. The good thing about this one is it comes with a pressure gauge, so we can see it working. And with the water back on, we can see there on the pressure gauge we've got 3 bar, well, just under 3 bar. So that valve's now working, and because the valve is now doing its job and keeping us under 3 bar, the PRV at the end is holding pressure. Nothing running through the ton dish. So we got there in the end. It was a frozen pressure reducing valve. That's another job done. I thought it might be useful just to talk through this because that pipe work in the loft was so sort of haphazard. And you might be thinking, why is all that stuff even up there? So they had a instantaneous hot water heater in the airing cupboard below. And when you fit a water heater, you obviously get instructions with it, and it will give you options depending on what your incoming main is. And if it's over 3.5 bar, you need to fit a pressure reducing valve. That's because that water heater is designed to work at pressures below 3.5 bar. So any more and O-rings could pop off, components could be damaged, it could leak. Similar to how you get instructions with taps and shower valves, they'll work to a certain pressure. If the pressure's any more, you need to fit a pressure reducing valve to protect the part, the tap, the things inside the shower. So because our cold water coming in is over 3.5 bar, you need to fit a pressure reducing valve. We're going from the right to the left here. Pressure reducing valve, a check valve, expansion vessel, and an expansion relief valve, or PRV. And that'll be the same on any instantaneous water heater. Now, the pressure reducing valve is going to reduce whatever your incoming is down to a suitable working pressure. Then you take your draw off to any other taps in the property. Then you have a check valve, and then you have your expansion vessel and your pressure relief valve. The reason your check valve is there, when that instantaneous water heater heats up the water, it's going to expand. The pressure is going to increase. The check valve stops it from going back down the mains and back to your other outlets and to your other taps. Nothing increased can go past that check valve. Anything that goes over will go out of that expansion relief valve. It's a safety device. The expansion vessel is there to take up that expansion, so when it heats up, the extra expansion in the water goes into the vessel. Sometimes you don't need a vessel if you've got enough pipe work. Let's say you had 6 meters of pipe between the check valve and that heater. That might be enough to take up the expansion, but in this case, we need the expansion vessel. And then you've obviously got the PRV. If the pressure gets too great, it can't go out the check valve. It can't go anywhere else. It has to open that PRV and go out there. And obviously, all of this stuff, all these component parts, all contain water. They need protecting from frost. The frost can damage it. You know what happens when water freezes in a pipe, the pipe splits. So hopefully that's helped some of you out. Travel back from Vex today. Just got in bed and my phone rang. There's water pissing out, power's off, can't turn the water off, can you come and help? So got dressed, went out, and it's one of the strangest setups I've ever seen. It's got a water meter, and then there's all kinds of other stuff going on. I'm obviously going to go back tomorrow when it's not whatever time it is at night and work out what does what, but see what you think to this. Ooh.
No, that's not good. Sorry about this, Peter. Right. It's not, yeah, you're right, the switch is work, it's because it's on the other side. And we've got to get that, we've got to turn it off.
Yeah, well, it's coming out. Oh shit, okay. Right, let's get some grips.
It's just suspicious because 3 days ago they came, 7 came and changed the air conditioner.
Oh, right,
They're trying to
okay.
blame them that they've unsettled something.
Something's not right.
Okay. You try and work out. That's good. Oh, hang on. That is two doing it. There's one up here, one down there. Let's see if I can turn this up. Right, okay. Let's see if we can find the one in the street. That's really weird. Yeah, so it's leaking from this here,
Yeah.
which is a drain point,
Okay.
and there's another one up here, this one. But they're linked together. So there's your water meter.
Yeah.
Cold water comes in here into your shortstop, which is obviously cuts the house off.
Yeah.
But there's a
That's bypassing that system.
drain cock there, which I guess is open, which is letting cold water go through into this. Where does that go? And that feeds that. That's really weird.
You think? So you think those two only go to this?
But it also tees up and goes through the wall there.
Okay.
So what I'll do is obviously I'll come back in the morning and we'll work out
Yeah.
what's what, but
It's off.
that's very strange. And you say you had a new water meter
Monday afternoon.
Monday afternoon.
Just seems a bit suspicious that they've been. I know it's not in the same area, but I just wonder.
So random.
But he was only here about 10 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't here long.
He was in and out in 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll have to work that out. I'm not sure why
Yeah, it's all amazing.
why this thing's connected via drain cocks with hoses. Okay, so that video I've just showed you was a call out late last night, about 11:30. When I got here, there was water spraying out of this drain cock and spraying out of this one, but they were both shut. Then we've got another drain cock here. So this is our cold mains coming in. We've got a water meter there, short stop there, which was off, so no water was going into the house. And this was open. So what was happening is it was putting water through here, goes outside there to another drain cock, which was shut, so it can't escape that way. It was coming up here and up to these. Now they're sealed. This is a heating one and this is the hot water. So if they wanted to drain the hot water system, they'd use this. If they wanted to drain the heating system, they'd use this, and they'd go out and you could drain it with a hose. So you don't have to have a hose running through your house. But that water was coming back here, couldn't get out there, so it was coming up. Obviously the washer's sealing that, and it was just coming through the thread, the metal thread of this valve body, and the same with this one. So this one was spraying out, this one was spraying out, cold mains. Now they told me this was swapped on Monday, we're now on Friday morning. This, when I got here today and I checked it, was open. So they've drained down from here to do the work on this, and they've either not shut it enough or they've not shut it at all, and then the pressure's built up enough for it to see anything I can think. But obviously now, in the light of day and there's not water everywhere, I've had time, I've shut that off, the water's back on now. And everything's okay, they've just got to dry out put a dehumidifier going and a heater in here just to dry everything out. But yeah, last night when I was here, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Why is the pipes joined with hoses and why is everything joined together? A lot of people on the Instagram comments thought they were trying to bypass the meter and stuff like that. A few people did guess it right, which was cool. Obviously, when you're here and you're under pressure and you're getting wet and you're tired, I literally just got into bed. I was just about to go to sleep when they rang. So anyway, done now. Interesting. Right, if watching that video didn't quite make sense or you didn't get what I was saying, I'm just going to quickly run through. Now, the guy who lived in this house when he set this up he wasn't a plumber, but he was an engineer type person. So when I've shown you this and you think about it, it's actually quite clever. So if we look at the house here, we've got radiators, wash hand basin, whatever. Hot water is fed by a tank. Central heating is fed by a tank. So you've got a tank of water there, tank of water there. And then we've got the cold mains coming in. Now, if you wanted to work on that tap or this radiator or the cold mains, you need to drain the water out. So you put a hose onto here, onto your drain cock. Obviously that will be close to there. I've put it here because I'm going to talk about this bit. If you wanted to drain the radiators, you'd find a drain cock and you drain the heating system. If you wanted to repair a tap or a toilet, you'd either isolate the water if there's a service valve or you need to drain the water out. You can't work on things without getting rid of the water. So what he's done, every single outlet before it goes up to the rad, up to a tap, and from the stop tap, he's put a drain cock on. And rather than put your hose and then run that outside, put your hose there, run it outside, put your hose there, run it outside, if you get what I'm saying, he's put a drain cock outside. So there's the outside of his house. He's put a drain off there and a piece of copper in. And then what he's done is he's connected that to that drain cock, 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 all with hose. So if you need to work on that, you open that and it goes to that one, you open it and it's outside. So you don't need to get a hose, it's already connected and you can drain off there, wherever you want, and it all goes to this outside drain cock, which when you think about it is really, really clever. Obviously that's in the downstairs toilet. It'll be the same in the kitchen, the bathrooms, all over the house. He's put these outside and connected. I just think it's really clever now that I've thought about it. But at the time, freezing cold, half asleep, late at night, they're panicking. You don't know what's going on. All you can see is pipes everywhere connected with garden hose. You think, what's he done here? But actually quite clever. Alright, picked up this little job. Say little job. Got two unvented cylinders here. They want the immersions replacing. So this one, and this one. This one isn't used. Now, this first cylinder is indirect, heated off the solar. So that's the solar coil there heating this cylinder. It then comes up, so cold mains goes in at the bottom as usual, comes out the top hot, doesn't go to the taps, comes down, feeds into the bottom of this cylinder, and then this is the connection that goes out to the taps. So this solar is preheating the hot water in here. Now, the issue I've got, this one was quite easy to turn out. Just made him with an O-ring. I'll show you that when I take that out. No paste or anything, no compound on that. These two, however, will not budge. So I've got my immersion spanner. I've had it on there. I've really gave it some. It will not budge. So what I've told the customer is, because they look proper rusted in, especially this one down here. If trying to get these out, if they don't want to come out, I damage this cylinder, then the cylinder's going to have to be replaced. You always have to think, what's the worst case scenario? And if you tell the customer before it happens, you've got more chance of them believing you, what you say, and paying for a new cylinder, rather than saying, you damaged it, you've got to pay for it yourself. So the plan at the minute, this one's drained down. Just draining this one now, and then I'm going to heat this up So I've got my gas bottle here. I'm basically going to very carefully try and heat this up to see if it will come out. Fingers crossed, wish me luck. Looks like it's worked. Still not easy, but come on, bastard. It's moving. So what I've got to hope is when I put the new one in and I put the water back on, we don't get any leaks. I mean, that looks like it's a bit damp, but it's not. It's just the foam where it's burnt a bit. I've put this plastic back on because it's still red hot. The end's a bit thin. There you go. Lots of rust on that. Have to give that a good clean. Obviously, when I went to drain this down, the washer was knackered. So look what we got in here. There we go. Put that on there. The out part that was missing anyway when I got it. The bottom one came out a lot easier. Again though, lots of rust on that. It's going to need cleaning. A big lump of it there. God. So I'm going to clean some of this rust out. I've got these sort of wire brush drill bits. Got these ages ago. He's given me a service kit. And give this a good clean. And we're back up and running. So that's in and on. These two are both in and on, although the bottom one's timed. I've just put the boosters on both of these just to check everything's working, but yeah, that could have gone a lot worse than it did, and thankfully we've not had to replace this cylinder, although I have shown the customer the rust inside that one and warned them it probably do want replacing at some point. They look pretty old.